We should be live on Instagram, Rumble, and YouTube right now. We got the lighting out here. We're going to do some Q&A. I'm just waiting on everything to kick in. So I hope y'all are invested here. Hope you're interested. I think we're here. I think we are good to go. Let's check everything. We're going to check the Rumble in just a second. I'll check the YouTube, see what all's going on. Rumble and YouTube are probably the two that are going to give me the most issues. But, you know, that's how it goes. Let's check it real quick. Oh, let's check it. Let's check it. I can't tell if it's live or not on here. Maybe, maybe not. All right, we're live on YouTube. I can see that. Let's check it. Let's check it. Yeah, we're live on YouTube. That's sick. The Rumble should be up as well. We'll check it. Oh, Nick's also live. That sucks. It is what it is, I suppose. Let's go back to Rumble. I want to try to a Riverside, I mean. I don't really want a background on this. Maybe that'll do it. Who knows? Who knows? I enjoy being live with y'all, though. We're going to do some live Q&A. If you're here already, make sure to put your questions, your comments down below. For those of you who are new to it, I'll probably spend a lot of time on Instagram. Well, I should put that just like that. I like it. There we go. And put your questions on Instagram. Put your questions down below. I'm going to try to get around to all the platforms and answer them. I'll definitely be checking all of them. We're just going to go click on. Let's just go live. Why not? Let's just go live. Why not? Can't wait to have y'all in here. If you're already in here, like I said, make sure you hit your questions down below. Let's put a little comment on here. Questions to be answered. Put here. All right. How is everybody doing tonight? Been a while since I've been live. For those of you who are just now tuning in, I definitely want to get around to your questions, though. I definitely want to answer lots of questions tonight. We got people piling into the Instagram, so I definitely want to answer as many questions as we can. We're going to talk about the situation in Iran because this is a dire situation, if we're being honest. This is dire. We've bombed Iran. No, I don't agree with it. No, I don't like it. We have over 100 schoolgirls who are dead. I have a video coming out tomorrow. I kind of spoke on this a little bit. We're not talking about even women. We're not talking about soldiers. We're not even talking about civilian men. We have 100 school-aged girls who have died at either our hands or Israel's hands, pretty much on each other's behalf. One of our missiles struck them. If this doesn't break your heart, I don't know what will. I've seen different reports about, this was actually an Iranian missile that came in and struck them. I don't believe it. I've seen different things disproving that. I'm not an expert. I wasn't there. I don't know that much about Iranian missiles directly and whether or not they misfire. I don't know about the exact terrain and whether or not these things are true. But here's what I do know. The state of Israel loves killing children. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if it was their missile and it was on purpose. I don't think it was an accident. We have Trump bragging about it. He literally gets up there. He gets up on stage like Lord Farquaad, and he's like, I'm going to risk all of your lives, and it'll be worth it in the end. For what? For what? A regime change we don't care about? I mean, it's like we're in a dystopia. It's like a movie that's just depressing, to be honest with you. That's really what this comes down to. It's like a movie where you're watching it and you're just sad the whole time. And you see it and you want to fix it and you just can't. You literally just can't do it. I don't know what else to say about it. Yeah. World War III is impending. I mean, with the Strait of Hormuz, I believe you say it, Hormuz, with it being closed, that puts a lot of pressure on China when it comes to the oil supply. Gas prices will more than likely go up by quite a bit tomorrow. So make sure you go fill up if you haven't already. Fill up your vehicles, save you a couple bucks. This economy sucks. Thanks, Trump. It's going to put pressure on China. It's going to be interesting to see what the next few days have in store for us. I don't think this is a single day campaign. Iran's pissed. They're bombing everybody. They're like, screw all of y'all. And guess who they're somewhat friends with? That's China and that's Russia. And China is going to feel the pressure of this because the strait's closed, because they rely on so much oil from Iran. And Russia's friends with China, especially, and they have plenty of reason to be pissed at us and everything that we do with Ukraine. So we're going to see some potentially dire things happen in the coming days. It could get really bad. We could be looking at a serious World War III scenario where we have Iran and China and Russia, all these people teaming up on us. Really what it comes down to. So I'm going to start scrolling through here to see if y'all have any questions. If you don't, definitely put them down in here. I'm going to answer it. I'm not going to be live for super, super long. But I definitely want to talk to y'all. I ain't been on here in a little bit. For those of you who are new, never been on a live, welcome in. I do love doing the lives every now and then. I enjoy getting to talk to you directly. Honestly, my favorite part about everything that I do, from the video posting to the, filming YouTube videos in long form, to everything, is being on lives with y'all. I get some of the best replies. I get some of the best questions. This is my favorite part. I really do enjoy it. So I definitely want to hear everything you have to say. And we're just gonna go one by one here. I'm kind of let it back scroll a little bit, so I hopefully can get caught up. Hopefully Iran does us all a favor. I'm guessing you mean takes out a particular nation. I definitely wouldn't mind that. I would definitely feel for the, there are innocent people in that nation. We have to be careful what we say here. Instagram's starting to crack down. I do think that they're guilty in a lot of ways by association, that many of them have cheered on evil acts, genocide and such. So does that make them actually innocent or not? I guess this is part of the toll of war. It sucks, but I don't think that they should be allowed to, exist. So there's that, that's always a fun one. Am I scared? I'm not necessarily scared. Here's the thing. Iran doesn't have any missiles that can reach us directly. That's the good news, at least not that being reported. I don't think they even have a nuclear weapon. I know they've been weeks away since 1995 when Bibi originally reported they were weeks away. I really don't think they have nuclear weapons. I don't think they have any weapons that are going to reach us here stateside. I think that we're a pretty secure thing. The only way that they would get to us if they somehow convince like Mexico to come after us, or maybe one of like the South American states, and I really don't see that happening. Mexico's got their, Jewish lady running that country. They got enough problems with the cartel. So I don't see anything really happening. Now, where my heart goes out is for the innocent people, especially in Iran, who are going to, or have already lost their life, but also to our soldiers who don't even want to be fighting. You have the people on the USS Gerald Ford literally stuffing their T-shirts into the toilets to make the thing flood because they don't want to go to war for Israel. They don't want that. Every one of them there is like, oh God, this sucks. So they literally had, turds floating all over the ship trying to put it out of commission. And yeah, here they are. That was what, 3 days ago? And here we are last night. We decided, all hell's going to break loose. So I'm not scared. I'm scared to an extent for them. I'm worried for them, I guess you could say, because I don't want to lose any American lives. I said earlier, I said, not a single American life is worth it for anything Israel. Anything. Not a single life is worth it. I have no use for that nation. I don't want to lose any American lives. I care about this nation. I care about its people. I care about you watching this. I don't want us and our families and our friends to lose their lives fighting a war for a genocidal satanic nation. That's what they are. So that's my feelings on it. Am I as scared as you? Uh-oh, what do we have here? Did the camera shut down? Hold on. What do we got? Let's unplug it and replug it. See what we can do. Bear with me, guys. Every now and then the camera will shut off and screw me, I guess. You can probably still hear me at least. That's good. You can probably still hear me. We're back. Okay. Don't know what happened there, but we're back at least. Let's see. Are you as scared as me? Yeah, like I said, that's kind of like the same as the one before. I'm definitely worried. I don't want to see anything happening. I'm praying for this nation, obviously. I'm praying that nothing crazy happens. Praying for everybody involved. Let's keep going. Hello, fam. Praying for my family in Jordan. I'm very worried. Man, I do love Jordan, and I'll be praying for your family there too, man. Honest, I'll be praying for a lot of these innocent families, these innocent Christian families, a lot of them. Jordan's a place I want to go visit, actually. I think it would be a cool place. Don't get me wrong, I would love to see where Jesus walked, but not under the current regime, I guess you call it, not under the current leadership, not under Jewish control. I want to see it under Christian control, and then I'll go see it. No, I won't kiss the wall. But Jordan's cool. Jordan really is a neat place. I would love to go visit there. I'd definitely be praying for you and your family. What else do we have? Thank you for all that you do. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I try to do a lot for everybody. I do love posting. I do love giving y'all the news. I do love giving y'all my opinion. I'm a very opinionated person. And what's interesting about my platform is I tend to accidentally isolate myself in a lot of ways, on accident, truthfully. I don't mean to do it. And, not everybody agrees with my stances on everything, because some call me an extremist. Some, follow me because I'm very critical of Israel and I'm very critical of worldwide Jewry. And they do it from more of a left-wing stance. Well, meanwhile, this is the right wing, the WRIGHT wing. I'm very, very conservative. And so, in a lot of ways, I upset people because of that and what my beliefs are. But, that's just part of it, I guess. That's just part of putting your opinion out there. Some people don't agree with it. My favorite's when people are like, oh, you've changed. You're not the same. I'm like, dude, I've had the same opinions for so long. Especially since y'all have, met me on this platform, I've had the same opinions. They haven't changed. The only thing that's really changed about my opinions is I changed my stance a little bit on trickle-down economics like a year ago. And even that, y'all wouldn't have known, because that was maybe the second episode I ever did. So, no, my opinions haven't changed. Let's see what else we got. Do you think that this regime change can be good? No, I really don't. Can it be? Yeah, it could be. But it won't be. It's going to be some Jewish person or some sort of crypto Jew in charge. That's the reality of the situation. It's going to be some crypto Jew. It's going to be somebody that Israel wants. It's going to do their bidding. That's going to make greater Israel possible. That's what's going to happen, is Israel's going to take over the entire region, all of the oil, all of the money, everything, and just, get rich, kill a lot of innocent people, and become a powerhouse. And what's going to happen at that point is they're going to turn on us and probably nuke us, because we're not going to support them anymore. Let's keep going. Let's make a new ocean instead of Egypt. Hey, that would be an interesting one. I'm not going to comment. I don't want to get taken down on that one. I'm just reading the comments. And like I said, if you don't have questions, or if you have a question, whatever, put it down in the chat below, and we'll try to answer all of them before I get off of here. I'm thankful for each and every single one of you that are in here. Where in the USA don't we want to be? I think, honestly, this is my honest opinion. I think we're safe anywhere within the United States. I think that if you were stationed in, the Middle East somewhere, then you might be in a little bit of danger. But here in the States, it's very hard to get a missile here. I don't think people understand the capabilities of our missile interception systems, but also just how safe oceans on either side of us is. We're good friends with Canada. Our relationship with Mexico is not the greatest, but I don't really expect attack and any sort of attack from the south. We're going to have plenty of time to react to a missile and take it out before it ever gets here. We have some of the most advanced security functions ever, period, in the world. And it's very hard to get a missile from halfway across the world to here without us realizing and intercepting it and it never reaching here. So you're safe in the United States. Don't worry. If you were stationed somewhere, yeah, maybe I'll be a little bit worried, but it's not that bad. So that just is what it is. Let's see what other questions we got. A lot of people joining. Do you think the U.S. will get bombed? No, I really don't. Like I said, that's kind of building upon some of the other questions. I don't think we're going to see an attack here. There's a reason that nearly 100 years ago, the way that we were pulled into World War II was Pearl Harbor. I guess there's you one place. If you're in Hawaii, I might be, slightly worried. Slightly. Other than that, I think we're good. The only other option that they would have for bombing us, mainland or anywhere, is coming up through Russia, and bringing something in. And even then, I think we would intercept it. And I don't think Putin wants to fight a war on two fronts. I think a war on two fronts has turned out pretty bad for people in the past. In case if you're a history buff, it doesn't work out too well. So I don't think Putin wants to do that. That's our saving grace in a lot of ways when it comes to Russia getting involved. What else do we got? Scrolling through here. That was the Islamic regime missile. I'm not sure what we're talking about there. Maybe you're talking about blowing up the kids. But no, I mean, I've heard people say it was them. I really don't think so. There's too many things telling me it's not. It just seems like it seems too much like Israel. The United States missiles can hit a destination not in a set range like old missiles, but it can use something like GPS to hit certain buildings, like the Iraqi intelligence building in Baghdad. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, we have pretty advanced missile systems, honestly. They're pretty accurate. I mean, you don't see miss hits. They'll hit something like whenever Israel bombed that church in Gaza, they literally are sending missiles in, breaking like the cross on top, like one of the oldest churches in the world, and then they said it was an accident. I'm like, no, it wasn't. This is some of the most sophisticated missile systems, and like you can imagine. Like, dude, they're probably like sitting there like playing on their phone and just like, wee, wee. That's where I want to hit at, like that. They hit that church on purpose. And I think that anything that we hit on purpose, whether that was us or Israel, because we have to loop us in together now as the Jewish states of the world. I'm not proud of that. Proud to be an American, not proud to be under this particular administration or any of the last ones since Kennedy, for being honest. That's just the reality of the situation. Did I vote Trump and now regret it? Yeah, I did vote Trump, honestly. I'm not old enough to have voted for him 3 times. I voted for him twice. I supported him in 16, but I was 16. I voted for him in 20. I voted for him in 24, and not necessarily fully realizing what was about to happen. I will say this. I do think that he was better than Kamala. I do think that he was the better option, but like I've said before, I'm done with the lesser of two evils bullcrap. That's not my game anymore. It's just got us into the situation that we're in where we never actually win. The Republicans don't have to do what we want because they know we're going to vote for them because we don't want Democrats, which is fair. Like, I don't side with the left on hardly anything. But the issue is they don't actually, because we're not standing up to them, they're not actually going to do anything for us. They just know we're going to vote for them. So they're going to do whatever lines their pockets the greatest. And that's what sucks. At that point, I wasn't awake to that idea, I guess. I was thinking in my head a lot of ways, lesser of two evils. I was hoping it was going to be like the 2016 term, and it wasn't, And if we're being honest, 2016 Trump and 2024 Trump are two different people. He went from the absolute establishment's worst nightmare, who made mistakes and didn't get anything done, really, but, had a good economy, to the establishment pick. That doesn't happen by chance. You don't take hundreds of millions of dollars from Jewish donors without conceding something. And he conceded a lot, and that's what we're finding out. And so I do regret that vote. I'm very sternly against Trump now. I'm very sternly against J.D. Vance now. But, we all make mistakes, I suppose. Let's see what else we got down here. Do you think that this regime change can be a good idea? I think you already asked that one. I mean, I think that it could be a good thing. I think down the road, in some capacity, maybe it could be a good thing. I just think that we're not going to see it. A lot of people didn't like the guy in charge. Kalame, I can't even say his name half the time. I have to read it before I say it. I'm still a Southern white dude. I still struggle to pronounce these names. But we'll just call him Ali. I know his name was Ali. But he wasn't the greatest of guys. I think we all understand that. I don't agree with him, killing all those protesters that allegedly happened. I'm not informed enough about that and what happened last week to really speak on it, at least not right now. But I don't think that's good whenever we go into a place and start just picking people to go in charge. It doesn't work well. Look what happened in Iraq. Look what happened in Afghanistan. Look what's going to happen in Venezuela. I mean, everywhere we go and do this, it just creates unrest and war for years and years and years. Lots of lives lost, and I don't agree with it. It's just not a good thing. Let's keep scrolling here. Like I said, any other questions y'all have, make sure you put them down in the chat. I'm going to get around and answer them all, hopefully. Sleeper cells and red flag events. Yeah, I mean, sleeper cells, don't get me wrong. That's always going to be something to be nervous about. Just like we saw in Iran. There was an Israeli agent within I'm going to call it the highest tier of Iranian defense, because that's how they knew that what's-his-face, the leader, died. They actually sent pictures to Israel, is what I've heard, of him dead. So there was somebody that betrayed Iran. That he was a sleeper cell per se. So be wary. here in the States. There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people who've immigrated here from, different places. It's not to say go be racist and every single person that looks like he might be Jewish, go, slap him. I don't agree with that at all. I don't call for that. But, potentially that is a real thing we could be looking at. Yeah, we did kill. 63 was one of the last numbers I saw, but I have heard reports it was over 100 Iranian girls today that we killed. That tears me up inside. Will this be World War III or just another war? Great question. Here's what it comes down to. How does China and Russia act? What do they do? If BRICS gets involved, this is World War III. Right? We already have, if I'm not mistaken, Iran is the eye in BRICS. Maybe I'm wrong here, off the top of my head, late at night, been a long day. But I know that Russia and China are going to be, potentially licking their chops. Like I said before, China's already on edge right now because after the Strait of Hormuz was closed, they're not going to get much oil. They need oil to keep everything going. They rely on Iran for that. They're going to be pissed. And they have many reasons to be pissed at us. Now, I don't really like China. Don't get me wrong. China is the one I don't like. Russia, hey, I wish we were friends with Russia. But we've done everything we could to piss off Russia for the past, 50 years, it feels like. More than that, you could say 100 years. So I don't expect Russia to be too happy, and they might look for retaliation. That's the thing I'm worried about. More so Russia than China. China has, but I wish Russia would team up with us. I really do. I wish that, for one, we wouldn't do this whole Israeli thing. I wish we just kicked that to the curb, and I wish that we would try to team up with Russia. Russia just got rid of all the Israeli people in their nation. They're like, nope, go back. Sorry. You can't be here. They're pretty smart about it. I wish that we were doing that. Instead, we just do whatever BB wants. So big difference. But yeah, World War III, I think it's a high possibility. This is kind of like, in my opinion, what happened today was very similar to the killing of Franz Ferdinand in World War I. That was the shot heard around the world. It's very similar to that in a lot of ways, to where this could offset and grow and bang, 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 all these alliances pinned against one another. It could get bad, but we're just going to have to see. I mean, that's the reality of it. Screw the dual citizens. Let them do the e-bill work. Yeah, I mean, dual citizens should have next to no rights here. Actually, if you wanted to be a dual citizen, I would just say no. Go be a citizen in the country you're trying to be a dual citizen with. Screw you. Get out. Certainly not in politics. Certainly not in the government. I would never want that. Certainly not as president, because that son of a gun, he's dual citizen with Israel. Might as well be if he's not officially. I definitely don't want dual citizens here. We need to protest. Here's the thing. I'm all for protesting, but it's just like, what is it going to do at this point? What is a protest going to do? Yeah, we got the big march on the 7th, March 7th, I guess we're marching. But, people are marching to save our children. And I'm all for the right to, speak out. Obviously, that's what I do. I speak out. I sort of run my own single-handed protest on a daily basis, in a lot of ways through this platform. We have to invoke real change at this point. And how much is protesting going to do? We need to let people know what's happening. We need to stay quiet in a lot of ways. Stay quiet and not, create a big haboo, whatever you want to call it, we don't want too much buzz on this thing. And then we have to be precise and organized in how we do things. Is that a protest walking on the streets with signs? I don't know. I don't necessarily think that's the way to do it. Just to say, I'm just saying Paul Revere didn't protest. There was action that had to be taken. What else we got? What other questions we got? Aren't you concerned that we have the sleeper cells here in red flag events? Yeah, I mean, I am concerned. I think you put that in there before. I'm definitely concerned about sleeper cells here. Maybe we can put them down. But again, if there are sleeper cells here, hey, you got a Second Amendment. You should be using your Second Amendment rights on a day-to-day basis. If you don't have a firearm, go buy one. They're not that expensive, dude. You can literally go buy a 9mm pistol to protect yourself and your family for like $200. Get you some ammunition for it, maybe an extra magazine, get you a holster for it. Especially you men. Men, be ready to protect your families. It's not that big of an investment. Yeah, you can go get nicer ones. Don't get me wrong. Know how to use it also. Don't just go, I'm not calling for violence. I'm not calling for you to be the one to pull it first. What I am saying is be ready to protect yourself and protect our nation from these sleeper cells if anything did arise. So let's be clear about that. The Jordanians sold out for U.S. money. Shame on them for not helping the Palestinians. Yeah, I mean that part does make me sad. The Jordanians did kind of, it is what it is. I mean, the U.S. does have a lot of money. That's all I can say, and they're not a very rich nation. But I've heard it's actually really safe there, really beautiful. People are nice. So Israel will make Trump do whatever they want. Otherwise, they will release videos of Trump, whatting kids. Yeah, I do agree with that. I think a lot of that has to come back to Trump, and most of our politicians are just, they're all over those tapes. They're all over the files, videos, pictures. There's no telling what's in the remaining, what is it, 30 million files, 3 million, whatever it is. We got a lot of files left to go through. And it's probably a lot of really bad things that I personally don't want my own eyes to even have to see. I won't be looking through them. I'll hear the headlines. I don't want to see those things. I don't want to see evil like that. I pity the person that has to go through them. Let me tell you that. It's going to be disgusting. That's just the truth. I was shocked when I first learned about the Talmud. Yeah, the Talmud's crazy, dude. The Talmud is you start reading their verses and you're like, this is what they believe? This is their religion? Yeah, they're jacked up. Good question. I don't know what that one's about. I'm more worried and concerned about digital ID and AI. I think that's the real threat worldwide. Yeah, digital ID's tricky. AI is going to be really tricky. AI, specifically video, is going to get a lot of people killed over time. Because you can take a video of somebody, I think it's like 60 seconds long, and then you can make them do whatever you want to on an AI video. That's scary. You can recreate attacks. Like, I mean, honestly, guys, from what we know, unless, you've seen somebody, which I actually have people, connections and such that have seen things firsthand. But from most of us, all these attacks could have been AI. It could have just been made up. It could have just been, videos. Oh, we're going to war with Iran. Make a bunch of videos. That's scary about how you could create a world war just from AI videos. That's something to think about. This is why we need to limit AI. That's a freaky thing, in my opinion. But they will take those muscles out. I'm not sure what that's about. The same people have been starting these wars for hundreds of years. All the bankers' wars, but this one's prophetic. Potentially prophetic. I'm a post-millennial guy, so I kind of believe we're already in the last days, that those events already happened. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not like dead set, this is the truth. I just sort of have an opinion. But the bankers do control a lot. What is it? Was it Henry Ford? Henry Ford says if you isolate, the 100 richest Jews in the world, there wouldn't be any more war. There's something to that. People have been realizing this for a long time. There are certain people who profit off of war, and so they go out and they try to make more wars so they can make more money. And it tends to be the people that love the money, and they do their hands like this. Their nose is maybe a little bit of hook shape. Over and over and over and over and over. And you're going to say, oh, but that's anti-Semitic. Yeah, it probably is. Oh, no. It's not really anti-Semitic. Semitic is the people there that live there. I know y'all have told me this 1,000 times. It's just the word we use. What do you mean? You can say anti-Jew? I guess, what can you say there? That they always fund the wars. What's your opinion on if this type of conflict would trigger sleeper cells within the continental United States? I think that's what you're saying there. It's possible. I don't really think Iran has sleeper cells here. Maybe they do. More or less, I think we should be worried about China and Russia more so. And Israel. Israel has sleeper cells here. That I know. My man, tell him the truth. Hey, I'm trying, my brother. I'm trying. If you don't already, American Reich, great company. Go check them out. They're really cool. They are, they're not communist or socialist based. He's about an American kingdom, about caring for this nation and its people. That's his goal. And so I really do support that. I really do like that. Good friends with them. Did I like Ronald Reagan? This is a fun question. Honestly, really good questions from you, Trey Kettlegolf. I'm sorry. I did. He was a good president in some ways, but he was a terrible president in other ways. Reaganomics, you can argue, did it work, did it not? He kind of let California turn into the crap hole that it is. That was bad. It's a trick question. Is anybody really good? I mean, if we're really being honest, I don't love anybody after JFK. I hate FDR. That was the 30s, 40s, whatever. I hate FDR. Least favorite president of all time. I found out more recently Abe Lincoln was pretty base. That's probably my favorite president. That guy was pretty sweet. At Reagan, hit or miss, I guess. Do you think this will be over in less than a week? Honestly, here's my odds. 50-50 chance, 50-50, or 40, let's go 49-49. 49% over in a week, 49% World War III, 2% it lasts somewhere in between that. That's my guess. That's just sort of my predictions. But it's all about what does Russia and China want to do. Again, that's what it comes down to. I've been studying for 4 years, and I can tell you with certainty secret societies rule the world. Absolutely, they do. Secret societies that are Jewish. So how secret are they? Can I say that word? Is Instagram going to take me down? You have a good heart, but what's going on is biblical. No amount of politics is going to get us out of this one. We have to face the fact we've deceived. I mean, yeah, I do think it's biblical, man. I don't think it's necessarily anti-biblical. I think that we knew that there's going to be war worldwide. Eventually, there's going to be, a one world type government. I just think we're in the final days. I mean, I guess in some ways it could be prophetic in, multiple ways, but who knows? I'm a big Bible guy. You know that. Y'all should know that if you follow me. I'm a big Bible guy. So, it's hit or miss whether or not it's just a big question there. Has it been Islamic terrorism all along or Israeli scheme and treachery the whole time? Do we owe apology to Islam? Here's the thing. I have a lot of friends who are Islamic. I don't want to call them friends. I have some friends that are Islamic. I have lots of Christian friends. I have 0 Jewish friends because they don't like me very much. Here's what I'll say about Islam. I'm pretty outspoken about a lot of things, including the fact that I don't like Islam. I think it's a heresy. I think that they're hellbound. I'm pretty outspoken about that. Islamic Muslims, I guess that's kind of a null point. Muslims are much, much friendlier to me than any Jewish person that's ever been in a comment or a DM or anything. The Jews hate me, and they are adamant about expressing it. The Muslims, I can tell them, hey, look, man, I think you're going to hell, and that Muhammad was a false prophet. They're like, hey, it's okay, man. We still love you. I'm like, I mean, they at least think Jesus Christ was a prophet. The Jews think Jesus is burning in hell and burning human poop. Like, that's what their Talmud says. So do I think that most of these are Israeli psyops? Yes. I think 9/11 was an Israeli psyop. I think JFK's assassination was. I think World War II was a big Israeli thing. Probably World War I. The sinking of the Titanic, the Federal Reserve. I think it all comes back to one people group. And they kind of do things and then pin it on other people. That's kind of their calling card, is they like to take the blame for it while they're pinning it on other people. So I'm not going to say Islam is a good thing. I don't want it here in the United States. I'm friendlier with those people than I am with Jews, if that's kind of what you're asking. So kind of an interesting question there. Did you used to be military or just love history? Love the videos, by the way. No, I'm not military. I have military friends. I've always loved history. I've loved war history. I mean, that was my favorite classes in school was history, which makes sense as to why I do what I do, doing this stuff. I love it because history repeats itself. We can go back into Rome, into ancient Greece, even into ancient Israel. If you're going Old Testament, 6,000, 5,000, 4,000 years ago, we can keep tracking back and see events that happen and see how they repeat. And you'll understand where we are as a nation. You'll understand that we're in late stage republic. And guess what happens next? A dictator will rise up. A single source of power will rise up in the States soon. I don't think any nation's ever made it past 250 congruent years of one government. Something gets overthrown at some point. It's coming soon because that's what history tells us. History repeats itself over and over and over. And if you study it, you can predict what's going to happen. That's how guys like myself have predicted things. Even guys like Nick Fuentes, hate him, love him, no comment about him. It doesn't matter. He's very accurate on his predictions. And there's a reason for it. When you study history, you come to these conclusions pretty easily. Let's see what else we got. I'm probably about to wrap it up, guys. So final questions in the chat if you have any more. Let's see. That might be all of them. I'm trying to scroll. Will the U.S. intercept a missile to protect the citizens, or is false protection? Yeah, they'll intercept one. I mean, I don't think they're going to want our homeland bombed. Even though we're doing the Jews' bidding and we care about Israel more than anything else, I do think we'll protect our own citizens. I think we'd intercept the missile. I don't think we'd let it hit us. Or maybe we redirect it to hit a dead spot and then blame it and causes a big the hubbub, whatever you want to call it. How do we know the pictures and videos in the Epstein files aren't AI? Good question. At this point, we don't. We can try to look at a creation date, some sort of metadata type thing. It's going to be tough. it is going to be tough to figure that out. And I think that's a big part of the reason why they're delaying and delaying and delaying and doing everything they can to distract us with this war and with other things, with the ice raids in Minnesota, all this stuff, because I think they're trying to find out ways to discredit all of what's left and things like that, like making AI videos or finding ways to claim their AI videos. We have to face the facts. There's a small group of people that do not like us, and they're taught that way from very young. It's actually quite shocking that we can't talk about it. Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's hard to talk about, man. I mean, they really hate us. They really do. They hate Christians. That's just the truth. JFK was the last good, honest president that actually cared for the people, and if he was definitely killed by a small majority of people. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Have I heard the theories Abraham Lincoln was killed by the Rothschilds? I'm maybe vaguely. Good question. You're killing it, Trey Kettle Golf. So are you, Bass Fisher 105. I feel like I might have vaguely heard of that. I mean, Abe Lincoln was definitely, there's a reason he was killed. There's a lot of reasons, and these people have their ways. Keep your attention on God. We were not meant to understand all of the evil in the world. Romans 16:19. Also, everything is biblical. Everything is always spiritual warfare. Yeah, I mean, everything is biblical. I'm just saying that doesn't mean it's direct prophecy, right? Like, just because, say, for instance, that, somebody got pregnant, doesn't mean that was direct prophecy. Everything does come back to God. I'm just saying not everything is a direct biblical prophecy. Even a war isn't necessarily direct biblical prophecy. Keep that in mind. But I do agree. Islam is a system. It's not just a religion. Islam can come here and no one kills him. If a Christian goes to an Islamic country, there are problems. That's true. I agree with that. I think that's part of the reason why I don't necessarily love the Islamic nations. World War I Balfour Declaration is very interesting to research. I agree. The Balfour Declaration is a good one. I've read it several times. I'm not going to sit here and try to talk about it in great detail. Go look it up yourself because I don't want to say anything wrong or misinform you in any way, but I have read about it several times. Nick Fuentes can't decide if he likes or does not like the juice box. Here's the thing with Nick. I think that Charlie's death scared Nick. I watched Nick up until about a month after that, and then I was like, I can't do it no more. I think he's bought and paid for in a lot of ways because I think he took protection because he realized how dangerous it is. And Nick is going to have a harder time protecting himself than Charlie did. Charlie had security teams. Charlie had a lot of people on his side, including the president. And look what happened to him. Israel took him out. You think they won't take Nick out? That's the truth. And yes, Israel took him out, took Charlie out. I believe that with my whole heart. I think I was the first person to even publicly start saying it. That's how I built a lot of this platform, was because I predicted that one from the beginning. So that's a fun one. If you haven't watched those videos, you should go watch them. Do you think this will evolve into World War III? I kind of hit on that before. Yeah, it's possible. There's a good chance it does. Depends on what Russia and China do. Thoughts on possible Russia or China involvement? Yeah, that's a good follow-up to what I just said. I know this was before. Yeah, there's a good chance that they do get involved. Russia will have to figure out something with Ukraine. Either they just bomb the whole thing and end it so they can come after us, or something even crazier happens. So AI was only made to confuse us on what's real. Yeah, that's true. There are good uses for AI. Don't get me wrong. I use different AIs. Dude, I was using AI today. Let me pull it up. I was using AI today to track my calories. It's actually kind of cool how it worked. Look at this. I don't know if y'all can see this or not. I was using it today to track my calories and protein and stuff. So AI is useful. The issue is everything useful ends up getting misused. That's where it goes wrong at. People go too far, so that's just what happens. Why is the USA, mainly Christian, helping a Zionist country bomb an Islamic country, Islam created by the Jews? Because Christians are brainwashed, especially in the Bible Belt. Oh, but Israel's our greatest ally. I stand with Israel. You know how many signs I see all up and down? Dude, I see Clay Fuller signs. Clay Fuller is such an AIPAC little... He's running to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene, if you didn't know. And I don't like him. I don't like Clay Fuller. Trump endorsed him because Trump knows that Clay Fuller will bend over for him like Trump bends over for Bibi. Now, who's my pick in the election? There's a young guy named Nikki Lama. You only need to go check him out. He is incredible. He's 25 years old. He's self-made. That's the guy. I like Colton Moore. Don't get me wrong. If I wasn't voting for Nikki, I would go vote for Colton. But Clay Fuller, no. No. But it's guys like him that push this Israeli bullcrap, dude. They push this Israeli agenda. And, that's just what happens. Here in the South, it's everywhere. Trust me, I see it clearly. You see it clearly. Most people don't. That's what's sad. Most people are just cuckoo. Let's see what else we got. Amen. Agreed. Thank you. Is there anything Trump can do to regain your support? No, he's lost, man. He's gone. There's zero he can ever do. Same with JD. Both of them gone. Zilch, zero trust. The entire Republican Party, actually, except for James Fishback and maybe Thomas Massey. Marjorie don't count because she's resigned. Those are the ones I trust. James Fishback, I would say revoke whatever it takes to let him be president. He would get this country fixed up quickly. I like James Fishback. If you're watching this, James, excellent job down there in Florida. You go tell Byron he ain't going to win this thing. That's my favorite nickname right now. Byron Donalds. He calls Byron. He's like, let me show you how Byron shoots a gun. He turned it sideways. I was crying laughing at that video. Malcolm X spoke out about these exact things. So did JFK. They both died the same way. That's true. That is true. Yes, arrest all the pedophiles and cut Israel off forever. That is exactly it. Trump tricked so many people saying he was a God-fearing Christian man, and then boom, he's on his knees for BB. Yep, that's the truth. Trump's not a Christian. He says he was. He did things deliberately to gain the support he needed from the Christian base. He's not a Christian. Let's get that facts. Oh, thoughts on James Fishback? Me and you are on the same wavelength, Trey. James, like I said, GOAT. I love Fishback. He's awesome. That's one guy I would love to support no matter what it took. Love to get in contact with him too. I know several people who have. I need to reach out to him. That's great, but you got to be 35. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I would waive whatever it took for James to be there. I mean, he's 31. By the time the election comes around, he's going to be 33. And he's more suit for president than anybody. I mean, if we're being honest here, we haven't. Who would you rather have for president, honestly? Decrepit Joe Biden, decrepit Donald Trump, or 33-year-old James Fishback, who's, by every single standard, fine, mentally capable, mentally able. But now I have to wait to 2032. So that sucks. And in the meantime, we're going to have a Democrat. It's probably going to be freaking Gavin Newsom coming and just wrecking our country for a little bit. So that part sucks. What else we got? Final questions. Do you think Trump was really shot? Yeah, and some. I don't know. That's such a good one, honestly. I haven't dove into that conspiracy. There's a good chance he wasn't. There's a good chance he was. I don't think it really matters, to be honest. Either way, the consequences are more or less the same. So, thoughts on boomers obsessing over Trump without seeing the truth? Oh God, dude, it stresses me out. I talk to these boomers, dude, and they're just, God, they love Trump. I mean, they love him. And I try to wake them up. I'm like, do you not see the things he's doing aren't good? And they're too brainwashed, I guess. I don't know. I mean, God love the boomers. Y'all really messed up a lot of stuff. My only problem with Fishback is that he needs to ban corn, not tax it. I mean, I agree with that. The issue is banning it altogether is hard, and people are going to find back doors and stuff. But if they have to report income, at least they get taxed. But I do hope he bans it. I really do. Fishback is a wet dream if he's legit. That's facts. That's. I have never heard anybody say it like that before, but that's freaking hilarious. What are my opinions on Iran? God, I gotta take a second to get back from that one. Iran is gonna be. I don't know what's happened there, dude. We're gonna put in some Jewish person. Some Jewish person's gonna control it, and it's just gonna be. They're just gonna be another Jewish-ran state. We're probably gonna have a war there for a while. War all in the Middle East if we don't settle this quickly. I believe James, in my opinion, gives us everything we want to hear, just as Trump did. So just saying, let's not jump the gun so quick. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Here's what I see in James. I see a lot of myself. Because when it comes to James, he also did at one point support Israel. Because he had been brainwashed. He was in the system, just like we all were at one point. And then he woke up to it, and he speaks adamantly out against it now. Just like I do. And so I see a lot of myself in him, and I see a lot of the way he handles things, and he tries to prove that he is truly anti-Israel. I can understand, coming from the spot that I do, because you see, you grow up in a certain mindset because you were told to believe that way. You have to break free from that, And so I see that within James, and that's why I tend to trust him. And at a minimum, I mean, how bad can it get? It can't be any worse than Trump. It can't be any worse than JD hardly. So it's like, I'd rather vote for him and say, screw it. Let's see what happens. Newsom's a clone double? I haven't heard that one. Have not heard that one. Now, I'll tell you who is a clone double. Freaking the new Jim Carrey. If y'all saw that crap, that was freaky. And then he was signing autographs. This fake clone Jim Carrey thing with a mask on or whatever. Right-handed. Jim Carrey's left-handed. That was freaky. I don't know what the point of that was. But, you know, Jim Carrey spoke out for a while. 69D chess. It's all in the MAGA playbook. Bro, who is this guy? Zion Farm and Nursery. I've never heard of you, but you're cracking me up tonight. You've made my night with some of these comments. It's 69D chess, guys. I mean, God, how are y'all not seeing this? It's right in front of your eyes. Trump is about to bring the hammer down. This is all a trick. All a trick. America first. Who would you want to be the Republican nominee for 28, or your ideal candidate if not Republican? Good question. For 28, assuming we have to keep the correct standards. Like I said, you know, if I could lower the age standard, fish bag. If I could really lower the age standard, me. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't. That's a tough job. There's not a great pick. I like Massey, but I don't really trust Massey that much. He says a lot of the right stuff. I just don't know if he has the balls on him, if I'm being honest. What's sad is, to me, I normally don't necessarily love women in politics, but Marjorie's had more balls than any of them, truthfully. But I mean, obviously she's out of the game now. There's not a great candidate, if I'm being honest. There's really not. I've sort of just chalked it up to a loss in 28, and we'll see what happens. And then we'll ramp up for 32. I mean, the pendulum swings. It's going to swing far left, I'm afraid, in these midterms and everything. And we're going to swing back, hopefully, in 32 and regain control. Making James. Florida boys making James kiss the Jesus painting. That was hilarious. He said, I'm not going to kiss the wall, but I'll kiss Jesus Christ. The difference I see is James actually speaks out on it and names names. That's true. He does name names. Biden was a clone double. Yeah, I agree with that one all the way. Thoughts on Milton Friedman? Great question. I will come back to it, though. I don't want to speak out of pocket. I don't want to speak out of pocket on something I'm not super educated on in a way. Like I said before, I don't want to say something wrong. That's not what I believe in. I'd rather tell you I'm not educated enough on it correctly right this second, right off the top of my head, than to speak on it and it be wrong. So I'm not going to speak on Milton Friedman right now. Hey, thank you, Jesse. Appreciate you coming on here. Do I like Vivek? Hell no. I don't like Vivek. Way too Indian. Anchor baby. No, I can't do Vivek. I don't even want him in Ohio. I want Casey Putsch, whatever you say his name. How old am I? I'm 26. 26 years young. Just turned 26 this month. I was 25. So it's been a good run, you know. Let's see. This is the last one. God bless you, man. Love the content. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it. Let's see. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm just going to go check the other ones, see if we got any comments. If you have any final questions, make sure you put them down below before I wrap this thing up. I'm going to go check the YouTube, check the Rumble, see if we got any comments. I don't think we do, but you never know. I'm going to get most of my comments here. If you don't follow the if you don't follow the YouTube, make sure you go follow it. I post long form there. You'll probably like those videos quite a bit. And, you know, I feel safer on there. Same on my Rumble. The links are in my bio. Make sure you go follow them, subscribe to them. You'll enjoy them. And let's just see. How did I feel about the State of the Union? It's just a big lie, if we're being honest, man. It's just a big lie. So I didn't enjoy it. You know, that's just the price we pay, I suppose. Trump just wanted to kiss butt for a little while. Anyways, one last thing. If you don't follow Jesus Christ, he loves you. He loves you. He wants you to turn to him. Turn to Jesus. Put your trust in him. It's the best thing you'll ever do. Jesus Christ is King. Remember that. I hope you give your life over to him and accept him as Lord and Savior. He died for you. On that cross, he had you on his mind. I try to end all my shows with that. So hope you know that. Hope you believe that. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me. I would love to answer any question about Jesus I can. So I love each and every single one of you. Thanks for coming to the show. Thanks for putting your questions down. We had really good questions tonight. Y'all killed it. And I hope you'll have a great day.